Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Hujambo msikilizaji wetu, hii ni Radio Fadhila ikikutangazia kutoka Masasi, Tanzania. Tunakuletea kipindi cha Freedom Pioneers of Africa. Kukuletea hayo utakuwa na mimi mtangazaji wako Edwin Mpokasye. Matangazo yetu haya yatakujia kwa lugha mbili, ya Kiingereza na Kiswahili.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Leo hii tunakuletea habari za Andrea Mwalula ambaye ameanzisha taasisi ya Twende Education for All TEFA huko nchini Zambia. Wabunifu katika jamii zetu wanakutana na waunganishi wa kiulimwengu kuona ni kwa jinsi gani mawazo makuu yanaweza kutoa fursa kwa watu wengi. The future of Africa is often regarded in a strangely unimaginative and pessimistic way. Yet Africa today is full of diversity, economic potential and innovative development. The Frederick Newman Foundation for Freedom is a liberal institution that supports innovation and other liberal policies in Africa and around the world. With this radio program, they aim to encourage young people to take the reins of actions and start thinking about how they too can use their entrepreneurial spirit to bring about positive change in their communities and beyond. Find them on social media, Frederick Newman Foundation Africa. Tutamsikia mbunifu wa Afrika ambaye ametolea maisha yake kwa kiu yake ya kutoa elimu bora, ambaye amebuni vituo vya kujisomea katika hospitali nchini Zambia kwa kutumia kishikwambi au tablet kwa wagonjwa kupata elimu, wakati ambapo watoto wenye kansa hawawezi kuhudhuria masomo darasani, hivyo darasa linakuja kwao.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Nchi ya Zambia karibu imefaulu kutoa elimu ya msingi. Data za taifa zinaonyesha kuwa kumalizwa kwa wanafunzi ni kama 91.8 kwa gredi ya 7. Lakini hii inaficha utofauti wa mikoa. Mkoa wa Kaskazini umerekodi 81.3, sawa na 72 kwa wanafunzi wanawake, na Lusaka ni 78.6. Watoto katika hatua za mwanzo na gharama za kuelea na kupata huduma za elimu bado ziko chini. Kwa ujumla wake, wasichana ndio kundi ambalo wanafunzi wanaacha shule wakiwa katika elimu ya mwanzo ya msingi na sekondari. Nchini Zambia, kiasi cha kesi 1000 za ugonjwa wa kansa zinatokea kwa mwaka, na 10% ya watoto hawa humaliza matibabu yao. Licha ya ongezeko la mzigo wa matibabu ya mwanzo na huduma za matibabu zipo za wastani katika nchi nyingi za Kiafrika. Unaweza kujinyakulia kiasi cha randi 100 za Afrika Kusini, sawa na shilingi 145 za Kitanzania, iwapo utaweza kushiriki katika mazungumzo haya kwa njia ya simu na kujadili mada ambayo tunaizungumza hapo mwanzo. Na sasa tukutane na Andrea Mwalula. Yeye ni mwanzilishi wa taasisi ya Twende Education for All TEFA, ambaye amewezesha kutoa elimu kwa wagonjwa wa kansa wenye umri mdogo nchini Zambia kwa kuitumia teknolojia ya kidijitali ambaye kampuni yake ameianzisha. Je, hapa Tanzania inawezekana kutoa elimu kwa wanafunzi wenye ugonjwa wa kansa ambao wapo hospitalini na wakaweza kuendelea na elimu yao? Na tumsikilize.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
My inspiration to start Twende was really to provide quality education to all the children, irrespective of who they were, where they come from, what they have or don't have. My name is Andrea Mwalula from Lusaka, Zambia, and I am a freedom pioneer of Africa.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
I think my childhood and the experiences that I was able to see, hear, and feel gave me a sense of purpose right from an early age. I was also inspired by my grandmother and mother, who were the kind of people that got themselves involved in community service. And I watched and observed and I helped where I could. Growing up and turning into an educator also provided me opportunities to travel the world and live in different countries. But my passion has always been to come back to Zambia and to see how I could utilize my skills and knowledge and help. So my biggest focus was the cancer children. And the reason for that is that the cancer children are long-term stayers. A lot of them are in the hospital for 2 years plus and have never been back to their villages, have dropped out of school, have lost out on all the learning. And for me, that was really important. So I decided to bring the learning to them right at the hospital. So they're able to engage in the different academic subjects, the arts and crafts, and also play-based therapy. And a lot of them then go back and are able to successfully integrate into the schools. Some have never even been to school. So the Learning Center has provided them with a means to begin to learn. And just seeing their faces and seeing them so enthusiastic and eager and alive, despite them being sick and some of them really sick. That for me was like an aha light bulb moment. Like, Andy, you can do this. And I did. The challenge was that a lot of the children were not able to communicate in English, and they were communicating in their mother language. So we got tablets from a company that donated some tablets for us that had the Zambian curriculum in the 7 major local languages. That really helped, enabling them to be able to actively participate in their learning. It also provided them with different resources that they could listen to. There were stories to read and listen to. There was math games, writing, and that really helped in terms of supporting the authentic learning that was going on and is continuing to go on at the Cancer Learning Center. We also have had our own challenges along the way. And I think the major challenge is probably losing quite a number of our cancer children along the way. You become emotionally, socially, physically attached to them. So that creates a big impact whenever we lose one of our children. Getting recognition in terms of who we are and what we've been doing for the past 6.5 years is something that I'd like to throw out there and hopefully get more support in terms of resources, classroom resources, technology, and also funding, because we do have 3 full-time teachers at our center, and it would be really nice to be able to recreate this and open learning centers across the district hospitals within Zambia, and have children be able to access learning in the different regions around here. The ultimate goal of Twende Education for All is to be able to open up children's learning centers in all the district hospitals around Zambia, so that access to quality education would be available and provide this platform for all our learners to be able to learn. And again, I'll go back to what I said at the beginning, irrespective of who you are, where you come from, and what you have or don't have. Our children are our future, and it is our duty to make sure that they have a successful future.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Basi huyo ni Andrea Malula ambaye anasema kwamba elimu kwa wote ni muhimu bila kujali huyu ni nani, huyu anatokea wapi. Na hiyo ni kwa manufaa ya vizazi vyetu vijavyo Afrika. Unaweza kunyakulia kiasi cha randi 100 za Afrika Kusini sawa na shilingi 145 za Kitanzania iwapo utaweza kushiriki majadiliano haya kwa njia ya simu. Na sasa tukutane na Global Connector, ambapo tutamsikia katika mahojiano baina ya Andrea Malula Changemaker na Global Connector Bianca Proterius. Tuambie, unafikiria nini kuhusu Twende Education for All TEFA, na ni kwa sababu gani? Tunakuletea ushauri ambao Andrea ameupata kutoka kwa Global Connector Bianca Proterius, na anaanza kwa kumpa ushauri wa ndani kabisa kuhusu teknolojia hiyo ya kidijitali na ubunifu. Sasa hebu tutazame ni kwa jinsi gani Bianca anaweza kumfanya Andrea aweze kufaulu.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Andrea here.
Hello, this is Bianca Pretorius calling from Berlin, Germany. Hello, Andrea. Great that you picked up. I heard about Wendy Education for All. And just to give context, I'm a startup pitch coach from Europe, and I came across this business that you created, and I really wanted to talk to you about it. So am I right in thinking your idea was to go into pediatric hospitals where children are that have cancer, that are really sick, and you give them education, digitally, physically, meeting them to improve their time there and to make them part of growing and learning still. How is that going?
Right, that's exactly what Twende Education for All is doing, Bianca. We've got a Cancer Children's Learning Center at UTH, which is the biggest government hospital in Lusaka, Zambia. And we're offering ongoing learning to over 70 cancer children that are admitted at the hospital. A lot of the children have never been to school. Some have dropped out of school because of the treatment and chemo that they receive, and others have really lacked in terms of where they are. And our learning center has provided opportunities for them to continue learning and also participate in play-based therapy sessions that we do with the students there.
So, Andrea, I love the idea of TEFA really, because it's at the core of it, it has not a business model and like some innovation scale, but it has the point of human rights and human dignity, no matter what, in its heart. So I was thinking the opportunity to scale that, giving education inside hospitals, could be to also use digital solutions, so that we have always part digital that provides the curriculum, that provides maybe video calls with people, that gives this slight human touch, but in a digital form and therefore scalable, plus always the updatable content of what does this specific kid wants, needs, could learn to support them in their journey and to be part of the just normal education part. So I really loved it. It is one of those businesses that actually matter. But because the nature of your business is so different, because it's not I'm going to make so much money with this, but I'm going to actually help so many lives with this. Can you tell us a little bit about the challenges that you're facing at the moment, and then maybe you overcome also in the past?
I guess the biggest challenge for TEFA has been getting that recognition and appreciation from the governing bodies, so the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health. Because if they were fully supportive and on board, it would make our life so much easier in terms of our expansion program and goals. I think the second one would be the digital tools to help the teaching and learning going on, getting organizations to help support that. Ongoing teacher professional development is something that's really important and a must. And of course, funding. I think everybody has that challenge.
Education and the access to play and dignity and the view of it's a human rights thing. It's not even helping kids that have cancer thing. It's a human right dignity topic. So when I think about brainstorming ways to expand Twende Education for All, I was thinking about, did we ever try like cross sponsorship? Because people, that the group of people that are affected by having a kid in cancer is probably comparably small to the amount of people that could empathize with this kind of situation, with and agreeing with every kid, no matter what, like they deserve this human right of having education and having somebody who believes in them. So how could we expand that? I thought about sponsorship, even cross countries. I thought about maybe helping campaigning basically for every teacher training being part of that, because if you manage to teach a child that comes from a village that maybe never has like touched a tablet before or has read before, if you can teach them, you can teach anyone. And so it's like the best school to become an impeccable teacher. And then the stories of, I would say, the TEFA alumni. So the people that went through this, beat cancer, and now are like proper adults in their lives and know the worth of having education in your lowest point. So telling these stories and going on demanding that across the Ministry of Health or the Ministry of Education.
I think it's about time now. I always think of TEFA Lusaka as a pilot project that has been very successful. And it is time, if we have the right support and opportunities, it is time for us to venture out and expand.
Andrea, thank you so much for taking up my call and actually speak to me about TEFA. It has been an absolute joy and an honor to speak to you. So for everybody who's listening to this right now and maybe also wants to create something that has an impact in a business, but also in lives of people, maybe think about these 3 points that we learned about TEFA today. So if you want to scale a solution, a business, an idea, digital is definitely your way to go, because you create it once and you can distribute it to infinite number of people. So with an idea like TEFA, the human factor is absolutely crucial to have inside the solution. So think about, how can I digitally scale something without losing the human moment? So how can I make digital solutions more human by implementing videos, by like calls, actually connecting to people, but also to think about how can I scale the human moment. A second thing that you want to take away is, yes, if the business model is actually love and not I'm going to grow money, you need to find alternative ways to finance it. So sponsorships is something that can very much work, because as soon as people hear about a mission, they feel touched and they know, if I'm going to be in this situation, if my child is ever going to be in this situation, I would want them to have the same. So don't underestimate the compassion of people they might find to be willing to sponsor one of those journeys. And a third thing that we learned here is there's always two sides of the business. There's the side of TEFA, especially. There's the side of the patient and the young cancer patient receiving it, but there's also the side of the teacher giving the training. And if TEFA can collab with the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, and provide teacher trainings to be part of TEFA, this could make a difference in teachers' lives as well as many vulnerable young lives.
Thanks, Bianca. Looking forward to meeting you too. Bye.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Basi tunamshukuru Bianca Proterius kwa mazungumzo yake na Andrea Mwalula. Unaweza kujishindia kiasi cha randi 100 za Afrika Kusini au sawa na shilingi za Tanzania 145 kwa kushiriki majadiliano yetu kwa njia ya simu ya namba 0622562231. Unaweza kushiriki mazungumzo haya kwa kupiga simu kwa namba 0622562231 ili uweze kunyakulia zawadi hiyo. Tuendelee na mazungumzo yetu. Ni nini maoni yako kuhusu taasisi ya Twende Education for All, TEFA? Ni msaada gani unafikiria Andrea anauhitaji? Tunawezaje kuboresha huduma za afya Afrika, hasa kuhusu watoto na elimu? Ni unyanyapaa gani wa kijamii kwa watu wenye kansa kwa vijana wadogo? Kuna pengo gani la ubunifu katika jamii yako? Unaweza kufikiria chochote ambacho jamii yako inahitaji, ambacho kinaweza kubuniwa ili kusaidia jamii yako? Na sasa tunaweza kumsikia mshindi wetu kwa wiki hii. Lakini hapo unaweza kututumia voice note. Anza na +27636278997. Nitarudia, anza na +27636278997 ukielezea mada husika. Na hapo unaweza kututumia voice note na kushiriki katika shindano ambalo unaweza kujinyakulia kiasi cha randi fedha ya Afrika Kusini randi 750. Kila wiki Basi tunawashukuru wasikilizaji wetu kwa kuweza kutusikiliza katika mada zetu hizi zinazohusu elimu, na tumesikia jinsi Andrea Mwalula anavyojitahidi katika juhudi zake hizo za kuwasaidia watoto wenye ugonjwa wa kansa wakiwa hospitalini ili waweze kupata elimu. Signing off, it's me, your presenter Edwin Mpokasye from Masasi, Tanzania. Nikikuaga ni mimi, mtangazaji wako Edwin Mpokasye, nikisema kwaheri.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.